A basic exponential function includes the characteristic point. You can know the x and the y of this point by knowing what can make x 0 and then replacing this x to know the y. The domain in the exponential function will always be all real numbers. You can know the range by taking the lowest point, which is a horizontal asymptote, until the highest point that will always be infinity. In this graph, we can see the characteristic point that is 0, 2, because 0 will make the x value 0, and the 2 will be the answer to y. We know that the domain is always all real numbers, and the range will be 0, infinity, because 0 is the horizontal asymptote.
What are at least 4 environmental consequences of the Chernobyl 1986 disaster? Plants had a red hue after the explosion, and they named it Red Forest. These trees also died from the amount of radiation they received. Second, fallout levels were very high right around the explosion and affect all wildlife. Third, forest food products such as mushrooms, berries, and game contain the highest recorded levels of calcium. And the last one, fish absorb radioactive iodine very fast, but the levels decrease rapidly over due to radioactive decay. What are the environmental consequences of other nuclear disasters and use of nuclear weapons? First one, the heat used in the plants contaminate the fish population in the water sources. Second, the amount of sulfur dioxide in the air makes the acid rain to form, so when this occurs the problem increases in all the world and it affects water contamination and human health. Third, the smoke layer will hit the upper atmosphere and cause massive destruction of protective stratospheric ozone, while simultaneously blocking warming sunlight and creating ice age weather conditions on Earth. Fourth, water bodies and fish became contaminated with radioactive materials, and children born with birth defects. Could the Chernobyl 1986 nuclear disaster have been prevented, and how? Yes, we think that it could have been prevented. The accident occurred when they were running an analysis to make a better plant safety. The company required to understand the process of nuclear energy, so they could not control it. So, it could have been prevented if the company were more abreast of nuclear energy and how it works.
Now that we have our variables, we have to put them in the formula. So it is 550 equals to 100 e to the r times t power, that is 6. The first thing we do is pass this one dividing. So 550 divided by 200 is 11/4 equals e to the r 6. And now we're going to put this ln 11/4. So we put it in the calculator, ln, and it gives us 1.0116 equals r to this times 6. The next thing is pass this one dividing. So we do 1.0 divided by 6 gives us the rate. In this problem, we will use the formula A equals P times 1 plus R divided by N to the N times T power. Okay, in this problem, A is what we want to know. P, which is the initial amount, is 700,000. The R, which is the rate, is 0.03. The T, which is the time, the years, is 3 years, because here it says, well, in the third year. N will be 52, which is the number of weeks that will be in 1 year, because it says that he receives weekly. Okay, now that we have our variables, we have to put them in the formula. So it will be A equals 700,000 times 1 plus 0.03 divided by 52 to the 52 times 3. Now we only put this in the calculator, and it will be 700,000 1 plus 0.3 divided by 52 to the 2 times 3. And it gives us A is equal to 765,902.122. This is the amount of euros he will receive in his third year per week.